Right now, there is a very good chance that the so-called healthy daily multivitamin sitting in your kitchen cabinet is actually forcing your body to metabolize a tiny dose of cyanide.
Yeah, it sounds crazy, but it's true.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're unpacking the transcript of a really widely discussed broadcast from human biologist Gary Brecka. It focuses specifically on methylation and optimal health.
Right, and the goal here is to basically cut through all the standard wellness noise we constantly hear.
Exactly. Our mission is to look closely at the hidden chemical processes happening inside your body right now. We want to examine why your daily vitamins might actually be working against you and, explore how to biologically hack your morning to fundamentally alter your health trajectory.
And what's compelling about this source material is how it takes the highly microscopic stuff, genetics, cellular metabolism, enzyme pathways, and directly maps it onto the mundane choices you make every single day.
Yeah, like how you breed or what salt you use. Okay, let's unpack this because this isn't just about taking another supplement. It's a really fascinating look at how to stop guessing with your biology and start targeting specific deficiencies.
Which is such a massive paradigm shift for most people. The transcript argues that abstract biochemistry dictates everything.
Let's start right at the foundation of almost everyone's health routine, right? The daily multivitamin. The source makes a striking claim right out of the gate, suggesting we might be actively harming ourselves with the very things we take to be healthy.
Right. And the focus here is heavily on vitamin B12. B12 is just non-negotiable for human health. It's built around a light metal, cobalt, and it's functionally necessary for your nervous system.
And for DNA synthesis, right? Like zinc or magnesium.
Exactly. But the source points out that in the vast majority of commercial supplements, energy drinks, and fortified foods, B12 is delivered in a synthetic form called cyanocobalamin.
Wait, cyano as in the prefix for cyanide.
Yes, literally cyanide.
Which sounds incredibly counterintuitive for a health product. I mean, why would that be in a vitamin?
Well, the chemistry is quite literal. Cyanocobalamin does not occur naturally on Earth. It is synthesized in a lab by binding a cobalamin molecule to a hydrogen cyanide molecule.
Okay, well.
And the issue is, for your body to actually use this vitamin, it has to expend a tremendous amount of cellular energy ATP to cleave that bond. It has to break off the cyanide radical.
So it has to physically detach the poison.
Right. It processes that microtoxin out of the system, and then it has to attach a methyl group to the cobalamin just to turn it into an active bioavailable form like methylcobalamin.
So you ingest this vitamin hoping for like an energy boost, but you are effectively giving your body a biochemical chore.
A very demanding chore, yes.
It sounds like taking cyanocobalamin is like buying a piece of furniture that arrives in 100 flat pack boxes, whereas methylcobalamin is buying the furniture fully assembled and ready to use. I mean, why make your body do the extra labor?
That's a great way to put it. The source argues it's actually a net negative energy transaction for the cell.
So you're losing energy by taking the vitamin.
Exactly. And what's fascinating here is how this brings up a crucial debate about toxicity. The regulatory framework in the U.S. generally evaluates safety based on single-dose toxicity.
Right, like if swallowing one pill doesn't acutely poison you, it clears the hurdle.
Exactly. But the source challenges this framework when it comes to daily supplementation, because you aren't taking a multivitamin once in your life.
No, you're taking it every morning for decades.
Right. The transcript uses the analogy of mercury poisoning from eating tuna. A single tuna sandwich won't cause mercury toxicity. The danger lies in the bioaccumulation over time.
So these supposedly safe microdoses build up.
Yes. The argument presented is that introducing these synthetic compounds, like the cyanoradical, on a daily basis might accumulate and eventually lead to neurotoxic stress.
That fundamentally changes how you look at the supplement aisle. If you're listening to this right now, go grab your protein powders, your energy drinks, your multivitamins, and check the back of the label for the word cyanocobalamin.
And while you're looking, check for folic acid too, because the source doesn't stop at B12.
Right, there's an even bigger spotlight put on folate versus folic acid.
This is a vital distinction in the text. Folic acid is entirely synthetic. It is a man-made molecule designed to mimic folate, but it does not exist in nature.
So what's the natural version?
The active bioavailable form your body actually uses for cellular repair and DNA methylation is called methylfolate, or sometimes you'll see it on a label as 5-MTHF.
So again, we're looking at flat pack furniture versus the fully built thing.
Exactly. But the presence of these synthetic vitamins is really only half the equation. The real issue, and the core thesis of this transcript, is what happens when you combine those synthetic inputs with specific genetic blind spots.
Because not everyone can process these synthetics, right?
Okay.
Even inefficiently.
Right. And this naturally leads us to the source's focus on genetics, specifically the genetic bottleneck.
Okay, the concept of methylation and specific gene polymorphisms, this part was wild.
It really is. The text details that a massive percentage of the population carries genetic polymorphisms, which are basically variations or mutations in the genetic code.
And the big one they talk about is MTHFR, right?
Yes, the MTHFR gene. It stands for methylene tetrahydrofolate reductase. It's a long chemical name, but its job is simple. It's the enzyme responsible for converting synthetic folic acid into the usable methylfolate we just discussed.
And the source points out that we inherit one copy of these genes from each parent. So if you get a mutated MTHFR gene from one parent, you are heterozygous.
Right.
But if you get the mutated copy from both parents, you are homozygous.
Exactly. To visualize the mechanism, think of a gene as a biological blueprint. If you are heterozygous, you have one smudged blueprint and one clear one, so your body can still manufacture some of the necessary enzymes.
Just like a lot less efficiently.
Right. But if you are homozygous, both blueprints are illegible. Your body simply lacks the instructions to create the enzyme that processes folic acid.
So wait, if you are homozygous for the MTHFR mutation and you consume synthetic folic acid, your body literally cannot convert it. So what happens to it?
Well, the unconverted folic acid doesn't just vanish. It circulates in your bloodstream.
Oh, that doesn't sound good.
It's not. The source argues that this unconverted synthetic molecule can actually bind to the folate receptors on your cells. It acts like a broken key jammed into a lock.
So not only does it fail to open the door, but it prevents the actual bioavailable methylfolate from getting into the cell where it's needed.
Precisely. And you need that methylfolate to produce vital neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine.
That lock and key mechanism perfectly explains the source's claims about behavioral changes. I mean, the transcript mentions studies observing children diagnosed with ADD or ADHD.
Right, children who are highly stimulated with very short attention spans.
And the source notes that when researchers removed highly processed foods containing synthetic folic acid from these children's diets, observable behavioral improvements occurred rapidly.
Often within a single week.
A week? That's incredible. The implication is that the unconverted folic acid was interfering with proper neurotransmitter synthesis in the brain.
Yes. For an individual with an MTHFR polymorphism, the source frames this as actively detrimental.
Wait, so we're told to buy, like, enriched or fortified white bread and pasta because it's supposedly healthier, but the source is arguing this chemical fortification might actually be disrupting our sleep, mood, and attention spans.
That is exactly the argument. The fortification process literally involves spraying refined carbohydrates with synthetic folic acid.
That makes you look at the grocery store in a completely different light.
It really does. And this leads to the central philosophy of the broadcast. Test, don't guess. We shouldn't take a blanket approach to health.
That makes total sense. Instead of blindly taking a generic multivitamin or eating fortified foods, you need to know your own blueprint.
Exactly. We should seek out a methyl detox profile or a genetic methylation test. This maps your specific enzymatic pathways.
So once you identify your genetic bottlenecks, you don't take a massive random base of vitamins. You supplement purely for your specific deficiency.
Yes, providing your body with the exact pre-methylated compounds like methylfolate and methylcobalamin that bypass the broken enzymes entirely.
Okay, so if we follow this logic, we've cleared out the synthetic vitamins, we've mapped our genetics, and we're providing the highly bioavailable nutrients our bodies actually recognize. We've optimized the raw materials.
Right.
But how do we optimize the environment those cells operate in? Once you've identified your deficiencies, how do you actively optimize the body's baseline chemistry?
Well, the source shifts focus to the baseline elements we consume all day, starting with water.
Which is huge.
Yeah.
The transcript outlines a rigorous approach to hydration, specifically using a 4-stage reverse osmosis filter.
Now, reverse osmosis is highly effective mechanically. It forces water through a semi-permeable membrane, stripping out chlorine, fluoride, heavy metals, and microplastics.
But the source notes that this process actually strips the water of 91 essential minerals. It creates what biochemists sometimes call hungry water.
Exactly. It is entirely destructured and devoid of natural minerals. And human biology operates on an electrical gradient.
Right.
Our cells require those 91 essential minerals to facilitate cellular signaling, maintain osmotic pressure, and operate the sodium-potassium pumps that give our cells energy.
So if you drink pure reverse osmosis water, it will actually leach minerals from your body to find equilibrium. It's essentially too clean.
Precisely. To counter that, the source details a remineralization protocol. They use Baja Gold sea salt, which is rigorously tested for microplastics and heavy metals down to trace amounts.
Or a high-grade Celtic salt, right? You just add a pinch of this back into the purified water to restore that complex mineral profile.
Yes. The text also introduces the concept of hydrogen water.
Oh, yeah. Using a generator to push high part per million hydrogen gas directly into the drinking water. I found the mechanism behind this fascinating.
It is. Hydrogen is the smallest molecule in the universe, meaning it can easily cross the blood-brain barrier and penetrate deep into cellular structures.
And the source cites clinical studies showing that molecular hydrogen acts as a highly selective antioxidant. It specifically targets and neutralizes harmful hydroxyl-free radicals.
Right. Without interfering with the beneficial reactive oxygen species our immune systems use to fight off pathogens. Plus, studies suggest it reduces inflammation and actively feeds beneficial strains of gut bacteria.
It's all about maximizing the efficiency of every single input. And that same philosophy applies to the source's protocol for protein, specifically essential amino acids.
The transcript draws a sharp contrast between whole protein sources like standard whey protein and pure essential amino acid supplements.
Because when you consume complex proteins, your body has to metabolize them, breaking them down into their constituent amino acids, right?
Yes, and depending on the source, this process can be highly inefficient. A significant percentage of the protein ends up as nitrogen waste rather than being utilized.
So you might be eating a heavy protein meal, but your body is expending massive amounts of energy to digest it, and you're only absorbing a fraction of the actual building blocks.
According to the source, utilizing a full-spectrum essential amino acid supplement circumvents this digestion process.
Like the perfect amino brand they mentioned.
Right. These pre-digested aminos are virtually 99% absorbable. They pass immediately into the bloodstream.
And they carry almost zero caloric load, so they won't break a fast.
Exactly, and they won't trigger an insulin response. They provide the exact raw materials required to preserve lean muscle mass and synthesize new tissue.
Okay, so essential amino acids give us the raw building blocks to repair tissue, but how does the body protect the actual blueprint, the DNA itself, while all this rebuilding is happening?
That's where the source introduces a compound called resveratrol, which is found in the skin of red grapes.
Here's where it gets really interesting. The discussion around resveratrol taps into a major pillar of longevity science.
Cellular senescence and telomere length. Every time a cell divides, a tiny portion of its DNA is lost.
Right.
So to protect the vital genetic information, our chromosomes are capped with repetitive sequences of non-coding DNA called telomeres.
So it's like the little plastic cylinders at the ends of your shoelaces, the aglets.
That is a highly accurate way to visualize it. Your chromosomes are the shoelaces. As you age and as your cells continually divide, those plastic tips, the telomeres, get shorter and shorter.
And when they become too short, the chromosome begins to fray.
Exactly. The cell can no longer divide safely, leading to cellular senescence, which is a primary driver of biological aging.
And according to the source, resveratrol acts as a telomerase activator. It essentially turns on the enzyme that maintains and reconstructs those plastic aglets on the ends of your DNA.
Which is directly linked to biological age rather than chronological age.
That is wild.
If we synthesize this entire nutritional protocol, the remineralized salt, the highly bioavailable amino acids, the resveratrol, it all points to one fundamental biological reality.
Which is?
Human beings require essential amino acids, essential fatty acids, and essential minerals. The word essential in biochemistry means the body cannot manufacture these compounds endogenously. We must ingest them.
So these specific protocols are attempting to provide exactly what the body cannot make on its own, maximizing absorption.
Precisely.
Okay, so we've thoroughly covered the inputs, what we swallowed to give the body the right building blocks. But the transcript makes a deeply compelling argument that the external stressors are just as vital to our internal chemistry.
Yes, we shift from supplements to lifestyle biohacks. The foundational philosophy here is summarized by a quote from the source. Aging is the aggressive pursuit of comfort.
Aging is the aggressive pursuit of comfort. I love that. If your morning is hard, your day will be easy. It's the concept of a hormetic response, right?
Right.
Hormesis.
When an organism is subjected to controlled, temporary stress. It upregulates its defense mechanisms. It builds resilience.
Stressing the body to strengthen it.
Exactly. The source argues that by constantly seeking a 72-degree, perfectly comfortable environment, we are robbing our biology of the natural stressors that trigger cellular maintenance.
So the proposed morning routine is designed to artificially reintroduce those stressors, starting with natural light. The protocol calls for horizon gazing within the first 45 minutes of the day.
Getting outside, or at least looking through an open window toward the sunrise. The text explains that this early morning sunlight is devoid of the intense UVA and UVB rays that cause skin damage.
Instead, it's rich in healthy blue light,
Right. And when this specific wavelength of light hits the melanopsin receptors in your eyes, it sends a direct signal to the suprachiasmatic nucleus in your brain.
which sets your master biological clock.
Exactly. The source argues that this acute exposure to morning light halts the production of melatonin and sets a strict 16-hour timer for its release later that evening, fundamentally improving your sleep.
And from that gentle light exposure, the routine immediately shifts to extreme temperature shock. A 1 to 3 minute cold plunge or cold shower right out of bed. Now, I have to ask, is holding your breath and jumping into freezing water actually altering your biology? Or is it just a painful way to wake yourself up?
This raises an important question because it sounds intense, but the transcript details a profound physiological cascade that goes far beyond just a mental shock.
Okay.
The key is thermal conductivity. Water is 29 times more thermogenic than air, meaning it strips heat away from the surface of your body 29 times faster.
Oh, wow. So when your skin registers that rapid temperature drop, the body initiates massive peripheral vasoconstriction.
Yes, the blood vessels in your extremities completely clamp down. The body is performing biological triage.
Driving blood into the vital organs.
Right, to protect the core temperature. Furthermore, this intense cold exposure activates a specialized tissue called brown adipose tissue, or brown fat.
Which operates completely differently from the standard white fat we try to lose at the gym. White fat just stores excess energy.
Exactly. But brown fat is packed with mitochondria that contains something called uncoupling protein 1. When activated by the cold, this protein basically short-circuits the normal cellular energy process.
So instead of producing ATP for energy, it exchanges calories for pure raw heat.
Yes, by forcing your body into freezing water, you are demanding it generate heat, which causes a massive, sustained spike in your metabolic rate. It's literally turning on your body's thermostat.
It is pure chemistry, not just a jolt of adrenaline. And the source pairs this cold exposure with a specific breathwork protocol. 3 rounds of 30 deep diaphragmatic breaths with extended holds.
And the biological justification for this revolves around carbon dioxide, which the source identifies as the primary vasodilator in the human body.
This flips the common understanding of respiration on its head. We typically view oxygen as the hero and carbon dioxide as merely a toxic waste product.
However, according to the Bohr effect in physiology, carbon dioxide is the specific trigger that tells your blood vessels to dilate.
So when you hold your breath at the end of those 30 cycles, CO2 rapidly builds up in your bloodstream. Your brain senses the rising CO2 and chemically forces your vascular system to open up.
Yes. The CO2 buildup causes the hemoglobin in your blood to alter its shape, preparing it to release its oxygen.
And then when you finally break that breath hold and take a massive deep breath of air, you are flooding a widely dilated vascular system.
You are forcing oxygen deep into capillary beds and starving tissues that normal, shallow breathing never reaches.
Plus, you're mechanically massaging your intestines with your diaphragm.
Exactly. You are shifting your entire state of being in a matter of minutes.
And the final component of this hormetic morning is grounding. Walking outside barefoot and placing your skin in direct contact with dirt, grass, or sand.
The source argues this physically connects you with the Earth's natural magnetism.
And if you live in an environment where that's impossible, they recommend a PEMF mat, a pulsed electromagnetic field device, to simulate the Earth's natural resonance.
Light, temperature, oxygen manipulation, and magnetism. The argument presented is that human biology evolved in an environment steeped in these natural acute stressors.
So what does this all mean? When you step back and look at the totality of this deep dive, the source material offers a profound paradigm shift. Stop guessing and start testing.
Investigate whether you have a genetic mutation like MTHFR that renders synthetic vitamins useless or even harmful.
Look for methylated bioavailable vitamins. Avoid cyanocobalamin and synthetic folic acid in enriched foods. Remineralize your water.
And remember that exposing yourself to natural stressors like cold, light, and breath work is a powerful free way to optimize your biology.
It is a comprehensive reimagining of cellular health.
And it leaves us with a critical evolutionary question to ponder that builds on everything the source talked about.
Oh, what's that?
Well, if our cellular health relies so heavily on adapting to natural environmental stressors
Hmm.
like freezing water, raw sunlight, and physical grounding in the dirt, what are the long-term evolutionary consequences of us insulating ourselves in perfectly climate-controlled, synthetically fortified, artificially lit modern environments?
That is a great question.
Are we accidentally engineering our own biological decline by being too comfortable?
That is the kind of thought that makes you fundamentally reconsider your daily routine. Aging is the aggressive pursuit of comfort. Take a look at your supplement labels today. Consider turning that shower dial all the way to cold tomorrow morning just to see how your body responds, and keep exploring the incredible machinery of your own biology. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.